That's awesome.
All right. Do
Okay.
we have questions in the event? Does anybody post questions over there?
I will check right now. Somebody's having technical difficulties, wanting to know if it'll be recorded, but that's about it. Nope.
All right.
Nothing. Okay, so lucky for Courtney and Heather, they have us all to themselves. Questions, we're here.
Oh gosh, pressure's on. Okay, so I think one of my challenges has been, so I feel like recruiting is great. Like I think I've kind of got my momentum with that. And like I feel like I can bring people in, but then once I bring them in, I kind of freeze on what to do after that. And I think it was because it all kind of happened so soon, and I've only been a coach for 4 months that I feel a bit like I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I guess my question is, one, like how do I make sure that I'm leading well with my team and helping each one of them, meeting them individually, and still still learning myself. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess I'm just kind of trying to figure out that next step of like how to lead my team on the team page and what I should be doing weekly with them. Yeah, because I think I lean a lot on Crystal and her team, which is great, and that's I do.
Taking off on your own really quickly and really well. So I laugh when you say that. I mean, not that you can't, but go ahead, Kristi, because she hears me all the time, so you speak first.
Okay. First, you just want to come up with a system so that when you are getting your coaches started, you have a system of some sort. Like for me, when I get new coaches started, I send them 3 emails that they get right away from me. The first email is the coach training, where I want them to go through the coach training, and I can post the team page. I think I already have one there, but it's step 1, coach training on my website, which is kristi.com, and they do the coach training 3 days fast start. And then step 2 is them filling out their 7-day quick start. Step 3 is then scheduling. I use acuityscheduling.com. You can set up a free account. So I actually have a free account, and they can just go to my Acuity scheduling link. I have it in there in the email, and schedule. Once they finish the training, they start getting started followers. The second email that I send them is called an About You email. So it's going to be...
You guys can use yourselves, except for, Heather and Courtney can use them while she's talking.
Yeah, Heather, can you mute?
I'm trying to figure out Hangout. Hold on.
The mute button is at the top in the middle. Okay. Oh, you can. It's at the top of your screen, right in the middle. There's a little microphone button.
I'm on my phone. I'm sorry.
I think it should be on the bottom, like left or something, on your phone.
Ah, there we go.
Cool. Okay. The second email that I send is an About You email, and it's just information about the, why did they become a coach? What type of coach do they want to be? Do they want to be a discount coach? Do they want to earn a couple hundred extra? Do they want to leave their full-time job? Do they want to make this a 6-figure business? Like, I want to know, and it doesn't matter which they are. I just want to know so I know how to help them best. It also goes through how many hours are they going to plan to devote to their business a week. What is their best email address for me to reach them, things like that. The third email that I send is expectations. So expectations for them and expectations for me. Again, I can post that in the team page as well. Jesse, are you in the diamond wall? Yes. Okay. Jesse just posted in the diamond wall about the expectations, and so I took her post that she put up. It's in our files section in the diamond page, and I basically edited it a little bit and made it fit me, and I send that so that people know, like, I can give them all the training and I can show up and never give up on them, but if they're not showing up, I'm not going to pull them along. So it's setting that expectation from the get-go. So that's the first thing I do is they get those 3 emails from me. They know they're coming. I walk every coach through sign up, which I know is different for a lot of people. I actually get on the phone with every single one of my coaches and walk them through. And so as I'm walking them through the coach sign up, I tell them once they're signed up, I'm going to be sending you 3 emails. You need to get through the training and then schedule that call with me, and we'll go from there. On the first call, I'm going to talk about their goals, their why, what's really important to them, and any questions they have. The other thing that I tell them right away on that call is I want you completing your business activity tracker, and I want you sending it to me every Thursday. If you don't send it to me, I'm not going to come after you. I'm not going to say, where's your tracker? I'm not going to be your mom or your teacher. This isn't high school. But if you send it to me, I'm going to give you feedback. And really, the business activity tracker is going to help me know where somebody is in their business. Are they doing all the right behaviors? If they are and they're doing them for months and not seeing results, obviously there's something we need to tweak, and I want to find out what that is. But if they're not sending them to me, I won't know that. I won't know how to help them through that. So that's kind of my process. I keep it pretty simple. They have access to schedule a weekly Zoom with me. They can go to my calendar and schedule a weekly Zoom for their first 2 months as a coach. After that, the ones that are building, I want to get them on a mastermind session. And then I want to try to pair them in one of my mastermind sessions so that they're around like-minded people who are pushing for similar goals. So that's kind of, I keep it pretty simple. It's not too complicated. I do the same thing with every coach I have getting started. Obviously, the conversations are a little bit different based on their why and their goals, and the Zooms each week are going to be different. The Zooms, I ask that they come with questions. Like, I want them to come with their successes, their challenges, questions that they're having so that we can work through those, efficiently. Oh.
That's cool. Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah, and whatever process or system that you set up, over time you're going to tweak it. You will. You'll hear something on a personal development, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant, and you'll go and change like one sentence in your thing, and it communicates so much better. And so I definitely, recommend using what Crystal's using, or recommend using what I'm using, because there are certain words that we're using or certain sentences that have years of personal development behind them and being tweaked multiple different times. And you'll tweak it, of course, to have it fit you, but just, starting with the system so that you've done everything and you're meeting them. You're giving you're giving them the tools, and you're there to help support them, and then it's kind of up to them to show up and take action.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm in the process right now of doing more than just a minor tweak, kind of like a little bit of a major tweak. Same system that I run as far as like, starting with people and sending them the getting started email of what they do, but I've changed, I haven't uploaded it to my personal team page yet, because we have the, getting started, how to sign a coach up, how to like set what email to send them, all that kind of stuff in our team page files. But I haven't uploaded the new one yet because I'm testing it out to see how fast people will run with it, or if it scares them or whatever, and see how it works before I put it up for everybody else. So I'm in the middle of like a little bit of a tweak as well. But I always definitely, and I too have been on Velocity. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I have that, and so there's been multiple times where I've tried to implement it, and then it's just been easier for me from a standpoint of scheduling with people, just because with my kids and everything else, it tends to have to be a little bit more flexible than sticking to an exact schedule. But I'm trying to reiterate, because the team has grown and it's getting to be more work that's unnecessary, so I'm getting back into that and trying to implement that again and sending that to people also. So I think, it's definitely different when you start versus as you grow and as you get bigger and stuff too, because you have to figure out, okay, like when you're first starting, you can talk to all of your customers on a regular basis, and they can text you every day if they want to check in or whatever. But like once you have, you've been doing it for however many years, and you have however many hundreds of customers and hundreds of coaches and whatever else that are relying on you, you have to prioritize a lot more and stuff too. So definitely having that system down, like Kristi said, and just, again, tweaking it, not always thinking like, it's okay if you change things up, because that's what you're doing. And as far as being ahead of your team, like, you've been a coach longer than your team, so you know more than them. And so don't think that, like, oh my gosh, I don't know enough, that I can't pass it along. Like, you're ahead of them, and that's what counts. And then to see that you're actively continuing to grow is important. You know, the fact that they're watching that, and they know that, you know, you're saying, you know, I'm not perfect yet, and I still have a long way to go. But I'm this much ahead of you guys, and this is where I'm at, and I'm going to take you on this journey with me. I'm going to teach you everything that I learn. I'm going to teach you everything that's worked for me. And you're basically passing that along. So it's not thinking like you don't have to be an expert or anything, you know, or act like you know it all. I don't know it all. And I don't think, you know, Kristi knows a lot more than me, but I still don't think she knows it all either. You know, so it's just you're a step ahead of them, and that's great. You know, and you've learned so much in the time that you've been a coach already, Court, that, you know, you're good. I don't think you really have to worry about that. Just continue to move forward, and you'll find you kind of have to play with certain things, like, you know, and everyone's different too. Personality Plus is a great book to read, or doing like the GEM test, and like that, like Kristi said, the About Me questions, which we have, you know, implemented as well, are really important to pay attention to, just to kind of see how, you know, some people need more coddling, and some people will go off, and, like, you have gone off and done it on your own, Court. You know, you haven't really needed a whole lot from me.
I just lifted up my legs. I could have done that better.
Hold their hands and, like, okay, now we're gonna do this, and this is how you do this, and, you know, you were like, okay, how do I run a challenge group? All right, I'm gonna go do it. You know, it's so everyone's got a different personality and how they do things, and just so, you know, we're giving them what you can.
This thing I will say, Crystal, that you said earlier about having to change systems because now you're like, oh, I can't, what I was doing doesn't work because I have so many more customers or coaches. I would challenge you now, Courtney, to think of it like you already have that. Is what you're doing in your business now duplicatable for a team of 10,000? Because if you do that now, it'll make your business so much easier long term. I think one of the biggest things that, like, a lot of times held me back were that the systems that I had implemented early on, where I was doing one-on-one calls with every single new coach that came into the team. You guys, I spent so much time on the phone, and that wasn't beneficial. They weren't doing the work. They just wanted to talk to me every week. And as the team got too large, I had to stop doing that because I was draining myself. And nobody told me, is that duplicatable for a team of thousands? And if somebody would have said that, I'd have been like, no, that will drive me crazy and drag me down and slow my progress. So, but like for me, I do not give, customers don't have my cell phone number. They do not text me. It's not something that I do. Some coaches might, and they might offer that support. I don't. They have my email. My email is connected to my phone. I have to be able to unplug, so that's really important to me. So when you are building your businesses, think of it as, is this system that I'm doing right now duplicatable for a team of 10,000? Because if it's not, then you're going to constantly be changing systems, like having to do big tweaks, like Crystal was saying. And those big tweaks take a lot of time.
Yeah. Agreed.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Tanya asked a question. Crystal, was there an aha moment that took you to 5-star diamond, or was it a daily push or intention that you stuck to that got you to reach 5-star?
I think I had, honestly, it was like a total kind of realization, revolution, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of this year, where I was on a corporate Zoom, and I was, you know, also on our team Diamond and Above Zooms, and I was realizing, like, as these newer people were coming in, like, I'm kind of an old person around or whatever, and like there was these newer diamonds coming in, and I saw what people were doing and how they were pushing, and I was like, how come I'm not doing that? Because I was making excuses for myself, and again, I've said this before, and this is, you know, if SC5 is your jam, and that's okay, and that's for you, but for me, I had set a Success Club 5 as a non-negotiable, and I was really comfortable with that. Not to say that I never hit above it or whatever, but I hit Success Club 5 consistently, and that was my thing. I never raised the bar for myself. I never said, oh, I'm going to set Success Club 10 as non-negotiable. I just stayed, you know, comfortable. And so I finally realized, I'm slightly competitive. Why are we black screen? Is that weird? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you see me? Okay. Okay. I just had a black screen, so I was like, what? But I just finally decided to stop putting a glass ceiling over my head and stop limiting myself. And that's where, honestly, really everything came out of. I didn't think that I was limiting myself, but then when I saw what other people were doing, I realized that I was limiting myself and I was fearful. So I don't know why I was fearful. I was like, I thought I wanted it, but I realized like I was holding myself back. So when I saw what these other coaches were doing and what they were capable of, I was like, why not me? Like, why am I not capable of? I can do that too. And so I challenged myself. I said, okay, it's time to get uncomfortable. I'm telling everybody else to get uncomfortable. I have to do it myself. And I said, Success Club 10, non-negotiable. And I see it. We go through highs and lows in this business as you go through. You're on that entrepreneurial roller coaster. And I would see when I would be self-sabotaging myself. I would see those things. And I said, gosh darn it. And so I make sure that now, it's not to say that I don't go through that, but I snap out of it quicker. I realize it sooner, and I, slap myself in the hand or whatever, and I make sure that I'm moving forward and being intentional and not letting that happen again or falling into that. And so that was, I think, a huge part of it. And then I tried to just really, before I was more focused, not to say that I wasn't focused on my coaches because that sounds horrible, but like I'm such like a numbers person that I get caught up in it, and I'm just like, we have to hit this. Like last year I said, I'm going to be a 5-star elite. I didn't even move any stars. Like I didn't gain any diamonds. And I was like, whoa, it was a huge realization to me, like, okay, I need to self-evaluate. I need to realize, what am I doing? Because clearly I am not being the leader that I need to be. And so I just did a heck of a lot of personal development, and that I never honestly really did consistently before that. And I just started reaching out consistently and coming up with new different groups. Like we have the Shine group we all started really doing this year, and started doing like just a personal, the people who are pushing for diamond. I have all this little personal group that we're all like having a Monday and a Friday accountability, and we are there to help each other to come up with ideas and powwow with each other and that kind of stuff. So just a couple like little things like that started moving it forward, and I just tried to start being more encouraging. I'm not naturally an encouraging person. I am more so like, suck it up, buttercup, and get it done, and da-da-da-da. Like, why can't they just do it? That kind of person. Rather than like, oh, that's so great, that's so awesome. Like, that's just not me typically. So I've been getting out of my comfort zone and saying some people really need that. And so I've been aiming to be more encouraging and more supportive, and really kind of trying to give my coaches what they need. And it's happening. So it's pretty cool. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer.
Anyone else have a question? I know everyone's muted.
There's another one that said, Kristi, how do you track your challengers' progress, day-to-day activities, and do you keep tabs on them daily in your challenge groups?
And this is probably a great question for Crystal, because I will tell you guys, my challenge groups are really basic. And it's just because it works for me. It's something that I can connect with people. I took the idea basically off of the competition coaches that I hire. And all the competition coaches that I have, I send a weekly progress photo to them, and they give me feedback on that and change my plan or whatnot, and that's pretty much it. I pay a lot of money for that weekly progress photo. So I was like, with our programs, they're getting a ton, and they're getting a free coach. So what I do is I have a big group. It's called Project Lift, which I got from Caitlin, and right now I take on 10 new women every month that I help with their goals. They're usually starting with 21-day fix or fix extreme, and of course most of them move into Body Beast or different things like that. I start out, they have to fill out a fitness wish list. It's all away from body image, so it's not like I want to lose this amount of weight. It's I want to do this many pull-ups or this many push-ups, or I want to finish a 5K, or I want to compete, or whatever their like long-term, like something they want to achieve in their life. They want to have a better mindset, but it has to be away from body image. And so we start out that way. They send me their progress photos in an email, At the top of the group is a banner, and every day there's something to check in with. Monday, your goals. So Monday, I would check in with my 3 goals. I'll write out my 3 goals, and I'll tag my challengers in that post. On Monday, they send me progress photos. And I do Mondays because it's after the weekend, and they know they're going to have to take those photos. So that is like an accountability thing, because I know with my competitions, I always had to take progress photos on Thursday. So I would take them, and then I would go out and cheat on Friday nights and be like, I'll make it up before the next progress photo. I don't want them doing that. I want them taking photos on Monday. I send an email to them, to my challengers, once a week, typically Mondays or Tuesdays. I have a list of them, and I send an email just following up with them. How was your week? How are you feeling? How are your energy levels? I ask energy levels because a lot of them will say, "Oh, I'm too full, so I'm not finishing my containers," and that's a no-no for me. I really want them finishing their containers and eating more. I want to ensure that they have good energy levels, things like that. So I'm just asking them questions. I keep it really basic. I found that a lot of my challengers are not comfortable with checking in to a public group. It doesn't matter if there's 5, 10, or 100 people in the group. It's not something that they do regularly, and they're usually busy moms that are having a hard time just fitting in the 30-minute workouts and meal prepping. So the group is just something that's one more thing for them to put on their list. So I really build that relationship privately through emails, and then the group's there for support. And eventually a lot of them do start posting in the group. If they send me something that's like, "Oh my gosh, I lost 5 pounds," I'm going to post in the group and say, "Congratulations, she lost 5 pounds." Or I'll say, "Could you post that in the group? I know it'll inspire a lot of people so I can get them to interact." But I keep it pretty basic. As far as tracking their progress, I just have a folder with their name on it, and I put their progress photos that they send me weekly into that folder. So it's really easy. On Gmail, you can go and you can create folders. I don't know if you guys have seen that on your Gmail on the left-hand side. I have folders for receipts. Anything you buy for your coach business even, I have folders for receipts. January 2015, February 2015, all my receipts go in there. And coaches rank up to Emerald, receipt for their Emerald gift goes in there. So I have folders for customer accountability, and then I have that folder, their name, and I can just put in their progress photos, their fitness wish list in that folder, all our email correspondence in that folder, so that I do have a track of it. But sorry, Tanya, I don't really have like a really cool tracking system.
For me, I have them tracking their progress where I'll ask them, but for what I do as far as my groups, I have a 30-day group that starts in the 3rd week of every single month, and then I have an ongoing fitness group that I will put people into kind of once they graduate. I do like 1 or 2 of my 30-day groups, and then they go on to the other one. Personally, even though I still have it up and running, but my ongoing challenge group, there's like diddly in there or whatever. It's like the same 2 people, even though there's like 100+ people in there, 200 people. But I get the most engagement in my 30-day groups, and one of the things that I send to them or I post in the group is a commitment. Beachbody challenge commitment or whatever, that they will follow the program, and that I'm not expecting perfection, but I'm expecting progress, and that they're actually going to do the workouts, that they're going to commit to, taking beginning measurements and ending measurements and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, that they're going to be drinking their Shakeology every single day, that they're going to positively engage with the group, that they encourage, challenge, and praise each other, blah, blah, blah. That they will share their activity, that they will share their physical results, that they will share the emotional and social results, and then it talks about, together we'll pay it forward, or sorry, together we're stronger, I will finish, and then it says how we pay it forward, and kind of plants a seed for like maybe them becoming coaches or whatever. And so I have that, and when they actually really commit to that, then those people are the ones who actually do really well in the groups. And it's very, I try to make the group, I've tweaked it over the years, but I've tried to make it very engaging to the point where like we have, the first week is all about nutrition, and it's all about learning how to what clean eating is, and they have to go and read their ingredients, the labels on in their kitchen, and clean this out, and what are their comfort foods that they usually go to, and what do they do, like tips on going to restaurants or whatever, like so that eating out doesn't mean you have to eat unhealthy, like how do all that kind of stuff. And then we go into like actual fitness, whatever, blah blah blah, and then towards the end I always really include a lot of stuff, like a full week of how is it going to be different once you leave this challenge, like why are you going to be different and not fail, like so you're not going to keep going and trying for the same goals or whatever anymore, like how is this going to be sustainable lifestyle type of a thing. And that has worked really well for me. I check in with them, not daily, like I'll tag them and post maybe 2 to 3 times a week to make sure that they're in there. And then I will touch base with them. I will touch base with them once a week. I'll send them a message on Facebook. I just use Facebook for everything. I'm not very great with emails. I do more Facebook messages, and so I'll Facebook message them and say, hey, how's it going, blah, 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 based off of if they've been very active or if they haven't been very active in the group, to touch base with them. I have them, not everyone does it, but so I say to keep it in a safe place if they don't want to share it with me, but I encourage them to share their measurements and photos with me initially, and then that way I keep them in a file, and then because often I find that people will misplace where they put them, and then when they have great results at the end, they don't have their before photos or measurements to see that. And then what is the rest of it? Activities. Yeah, so it's not like a daily thing because, again, I don't want to be their babysitter or whatever else, but I am there to be motivating and encouraging and get them engaged in it. So I find that when people have the expectations up front, they tend to stick to it more, and that they'll follow through and participate because it's for their best interests. The more they participate, I tell them the more they participate, better things are going to be because they have that accountability, that support system within the group.
And Courtney, you asked, do I have just one group that I put all my customers in, or is it a new group each month? I have one group where Crystal has her 30-day group and then rolls them into a fitness group. I just have one big one that I add people to every Monday. I found for me personally, just doing a challenge group once a month on that specific date, I was losing a lot of people because some people are like, well, no, I want to get started right now. I don't want to wait 3 weeks to get started. And I know that would be me. If I want to start something, like I want to start immediately. When I call a competition coach, like I want my plan right now and I want to do it right now. That's just how I am. So I don't make my challengers wait. So I start a group essentially within the group every Monday. I welcome people to the group. Some Mondays that means I have 5 new people. Some Mondays I have 1, some 0, sometimes 6. But then people are getting started when it works for them, and not so much just once a month. So I do mine a little bit differently. Do I have daily posts to that group? There are a lot of people. There are other coaches in that group too. I actually started it with a coach on my team. So there are lots of posts in that group daily, which makes it really nice for me. I try to go in there once a day and post whatever that check-in is for the day, or if I notice that people that week are struggling with eating out, then I'm going to do a post about eating out. And, I'm going to share with them all week long about how I eat out, because I eat out a lot, but how to eat out and stay on track. And but whatever the post is for the day, 3 goals or share a recipe, I'm going to do the same thing. Whatever I'm asking of them, I'm going to do that too. So I just make it like I am one of the challengers in the group. Great questions. Anyone else? Questions? Now you guys are all muted. Courtney and Tanya got a lot of questions. What about everyone else? Alana?
I have one, yeah. This is kind of more for Crystal, just because I talk to Kristi every week. But Crystal, I would love to hear from you what you do about coaches who sign up and are being somewhat active and saying that they want to build a business and but just aren't hitting Success Club, aren't signing up, people aren't doing stuff?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's kind of, honestly, it's kind of like with your challengers of how you can want it for them and you can see the potential in them, but they have to want it for themselves. And that's a tough thing to swallow a lot of times because, so what I aim to do is I do the same thing with my customers or people that say that they're interested in a challenge pack or whatever, but then don't follow through or something. So I will get in touch with them probably 3-4 times pretty consistently within a 10 to 14-day period, reiterating what their why is and why they wanted this in the first place and what are they getting out of it and all that kind of stuff. And then if they aren't responding to me, what I try and do is then with coach-wise, I leave them alone and I reach out to them. Definitely, it depends on how long I've had them or whatever, but if they're a newer coach, then I'll reach out to them once a week still, like just through a message or through an email, letting them know that, hey, how's it going, or if they've been a coach on my team for a while, then I reach out to them once monthly, like at the beginning of the month, hey, just thinking about you, whatever, stuff like that. Coaches that have been inactive, or hey, even just on a personal level, nothing to do with business even, and that often will generate some interest there if I'm reaching out on a personal level. But I have, I'll tell you right now, I have one of my coaches. She joined on with me early on when I first started this business. I'm almost at my 3-year anniversary. So she's been a coach over 2 years now. I don't remember exactly how long. She had so much potential, and she did a little bit kind of hobby-ish when she first started, and then didn't do really anything, even though she loved the programs, loved the products. And I met with her from time to time when I would see her, all that kind of stuff, and she'd be really encouraged and like, okay, this is going to be the time, and I'd be like, all right, awesome, and then she wouldn't do anything. And there's nothing I can do. So I just aim to support her and encourage her along the way, let her know that I'm here when she's ready or whatever. I think that she's very capable and that I believe in her. And so finally, it was like someone else saying something to her rather than me. And she heard a couple other people's stories live and in person and saw like, okay, wow, they have these big goals and this whatever else. And then all of a sudden she took off, and she's been running ever since, and she's about to be diamond any second now, and she's amazing. But it took her 2 years to get there, 2+ years, whatever, somewhere around there. I have another coach who is a diamond, who doesn't hit Success Club necessarily. It hasn't hit Success Club every month. She's changing that as she's moving forward, but she hasn't hit Success Club leading up to that. But it doesn't mean that she doesn't have potential. So everybody's very different where they are. I feel like you just have to meet them where that. But I just try to be as supportive and encouraging as possible. If they're ignoring me on the business level, I try and support them on a personal level and let them know that I'm here for them. And I end up having, I don't know what, that in turn, people tell me their life's deepest, darkest secrets. So I think it's like, I don't know, but that means they feel comfortable with me and they know that I'm there to support them, whatever else. So I just try to be there and just love on them as a person and in general, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to just pay it forward, and eventually it will come back around if they do something great. Even if they never do anything and they only got that support and whatever out of it, then that's the greatest thing too. But you have to work with the willing. You can't force anybody. And so, like, again, with my one coach who didn't do anything for a long time, I didn't contact her every single week. At that point, I backed off, wrote her a message once a month, hey, how's it going? I see something, same thing that we do with our customers or whatever we see on Facebook. I see that your kids are blah, 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 how are you doing? And then I just sneak a little, like, something about coaching in there. Oh, it'd be great. Or if you just said that whatever, then you could just do this or something, just to, like, throw a little whatever in there just to keep planting those seeds. But yeah, that's it. There's just like a once-a-month thing. Again, I never excluded them, which, I mean, why would you? You don't do that. But, like, whenever I would have she lives back east, so we'd go back east. We'd have in-person meetings. I would always include her, even though she wasn't doing squat with her business. I'd say, come, join us, whatever. And that's what it took. She heard other people's stories, and she got all excited, and then she's been on fire ever since. So you never know. Don't discount anybody out, but don't spin your wheels either.
Alana, did you listen to that podcast that I sent this morning?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm going to.
It covered your question.
Okay. I also, like, sort of along the same lines, but someone who, like, is responding to me and is, like, I just suggested that she start filling out her business activity tracker, but ways to, I guess, see maybe where she might need more help, like, other than that. Just because, like, I see her posting on her Facebook. This will be the first week that she's filling out her business activity tracker, so I have yet to actually see that, so see where she's lacking. But are there any other things that you do, like have someone send you like a conversation that they've had or anything that's like helpful to see where they might need some help?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely say like, well, again, it's like the business activity tracker is like a food journal. Like, you need to send me this so I see what you're doing, whatever else. And then some people will like have all the numbers there, and I'm like, well, then what the heck's going on? I was like, send me your conversations then, send me your conversations, and I can see little things where I'll help them. I'll say, oh, well, I would say like da 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 da, and I'll help them out with the conversations of how I would approach it, and we'll go through that a couple times. Even to the point, or like if they're coaches already and say they get someone on as a coach, I'll do a 3-way call with them for getting started, or to bring their coaches on, or to sign their coach up. Like if they have a coach prospect and it's a little like, I don't know how this is going to go, I'll be like, hey, let's get on a 3-way call. I'll help you out with that. So definitely I want to see what they're doing and be as active and engaged if they are really trying.
Right.
And then
that's important, if they are really trying.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times, and the reason why I say the business activity tracker is so important is because a lot of times people think they're doing the right behaviors or think they're doing the actual work. I mean, even like Emily said yesterday, she's like, I thought I was doing it, and then I realized that last month I really wasn't doing as much as I thought once I started using the tracker. So I think that's really important, because you don't know, they could send you one conversation, and that could be the only conversation they've had all month. And that's this is going to sound really bad, but that's a waste of your time, because that one conversation isn't going to turn into a result. People are going to say, they're going to have a lot of people say yes and not follow through. They're going to have a lot of people say no and come back later. They're going to have a lot of people say, yeah, I'm interested, and never message them back. So it's going to be more than one conversation. So that tracker first before that's why I make coaches do that, because I'm not going to devote a ton of time to pulling someone along if they're not willing to learn the basics.
Yeah, I think that goes along with what Courtney was asking too. Like, what do you do with coaches who are inviting daily and posting consistently but aren't getting any responses? So yeah, like first off, do that, and then ask them what they're saying. What's the response? If they're not getting any responses or whatever, what are they saying? Like, are they being like bleh, and like vomiting all over people, or what? Like what are they doing that's might be turning people off?
But also, like, what else are they doing? Because it's more than just posting consistently and inviting daily. A lot of people think that they can just do those things, but it is all of the other things. Are they doing personal development? Most people, that's the one thing they want to skimp on every single day is personal development. And it's the thing that will, work on yourself, like all of the personal development that I've been doing lately, work on yourself more than you do your business. So if they're not working on themselves, they can be posting things, but maybe it doesn't come off as true to who they are. Or maybe if they're posting things on their social media account, they're posting to everyone instead of to their niche. Like, they're on your track. They're trying to impress everyone. When you're trying to impress everyone, you're impressing no one. Honestly, like, you want to connect with those people that are your niche, that are the people that you want to speak to. Not everybody wants to be me. Not everybody wants to live a life of freedom. I don't care about those people that don't. I'm not trying to talk with them. I'm trying to talk to those people that want more. Not everybody wants to have abs. That's okay. I'm finding those people that want abs. I want to help them. So that's one thing when people are posting and inviting, are they just trying to too broad of an audience? Is it really, are they actually connecting with somebody, or they're just posting to post? Is it a story that like when you read it, are you like, oh my gosh? And maybe you aren't, because maybe that doesn't connect with you, but would it connect with somebody else, right? Would their story connect specifically? And if you, I've been trying to do a better job of this with every post. I don't care if it gets 10 likes or if it gets 100 likes. I want in that post to tell my story and to add value, to use my story to inspire somebody else, or use my story to teach somebody something for that day. So, are there posts doing that? Personal development, workouts. Another thing people like to skip on is workouts. They're telling everybody else they should work out, and they're inviting people to work out, and they're maybe working out 3 days a week. Well, it's hard to say, I want you who isn't committed to your health and fitness goals to commit to your health and fitness goals when I'm kind of half committing to mine, right? So that's why I say the business activity tracker. You don't have to use it forever, but most of the time what I see coaches do, even in the beginning, is they'll use it for the first month, and then they stop using it the next month, and they're already forgetting something. They're either forgetting to add to their network, or they're forgetting to follow up. Following up is super important. Even Emily said, this is a great thing for your question, Courtney, is one of my coaches, Emily, yesterday said to me, she said, last month I was inviting like a crazy person and posting to Facebook. She goes, and I did awful. And I realized I wasn't following up with anyone. And the month before, I followed up with everyone, and follow-ups is where I got my Success Club points. Follow-ups is where I found the yeses, not in my initial invite. So it just goes back to that business activity tracker. Are they doing all the other activities? Because they do work together. One without the other, you have that missing piece, and you might see some success, but it's going to be more of a struggle.
I feel like too, just to add to that, I like some people will get it really quickly as far as like how to post. Like we talk about, you want to share your story, you want to be engaging, and you want to add value, right? Those are the 3 things that you want to do, and you want to include like a couple, like 3 to 5 aspects of your life, not just, if you just start jumping to fitness and that's all you talk about, it's weird. But some coaches get that really well, and they start and they don't have a huge refining period or whatever. They just dive into it and they understand that. And some coaches need a lot of refining. So like I have a newer coach who I can look at her page, and so she's sharing parts of her life, and she's sharing about her workout like I told her, but like, her workout says Pilates Wednesday and abs are on fire. Still looking for more people to join me and make a healthier you. We only have one body, one life. Are you ready for a new lifestyle? There's no picture. It's very salesy. She doesn't say anything about how it's changed her. Shared her story. She doesn't have anything eye-catching with it. Same thing. Like she just shared a picture, of her daughter's something or other. I don't know, some event or whatever, and just says, it just says a very blatant statement about it. So yes, she's doing what I said about sharing about her life and stuff. But am I going to be interested in that if I'm scrolling by? No. So you have to look at it so. I try and aim to do a lot of refining with my coaches as need be. Like we're constantly, if they're, trying to do this, constantly moving forward and evaluating what they're doing. Okay, so if you went to your page, 1, would I know you're a coach that you can help me? 2, do I care what you're posting? Is it interesting to me? Is it going to add, why do I want to see what's on there? So yeah, I always thought it's weird that people want to know about my life, but you know what? It's because I'm engaging with people and because I make it exciting and this or relatable. And if I'm having a crappy morning like I did this morning, I make it relatable to the point oh my gosh, do your kids drive you crazy too? It's just, you have to think of it like a conversation. And I think a lot of coaches unfortunately don't get that right away, whereas it's more natural for some. So that's really important too, because if they're inviting but they're just kind of plugging things in, it's just, I say a job, it's just I have to go and I have to clock in and I have to do whatever and I'm just going through the motions, it's not going to happen, you know? There has to be some genuine, like, heart in it and stuff, too. They might think they are, but, like, if you look at their stuff, and
Is there like a like the one that I'm thinking of? I think that might be an area of personal development for her to figure out how to, one, know her story and share it, because I think for her, she's like just jumping on this train and everything and loving it and so excited about it, but also excited about the business, that it's kind of like she's trying so hard, but I think might need a bit more, like, you know, kind of vision to figure that out, that extra push to really understand. Is there like a book for that or something that I could suggest to her?
Jab, jab, right hook.
Oh, okay. I think I'm reading that right now.
what do you mean you think?
I should rephrase that. I have like 2 or 3 books that I've started in the last week because I just got really excited about personal development and thought I need to do that all the time, so I got too excited. But I think I started that and then I moved to another one. But yeah, I'll do that because the bit that I read is amazing.
That's something that I do with my coaches too, is, you know, once they're past the new stages of being a coach, what is it that they're struggling with? Like this morning, I knew what Alana's question was before she asked it, because he's been on this topic for like the last 3 weeks. So I listened to a podcast this morning that was meant for her and 2 other coaches, and so I sent that immediately to them. Like, this is, you know, you guys need to listen to this. So also just the struggles that your coaches are having. You guys, supporting your coaches is incredible. You don't have to have all the answers for them. Like that, the part of it is personal development. We all have our own businesses, and we're teaching and training on things that maybe we've made mistakes on or things that we're good at, but we're not going to have all the answers ever. Like just Crystal said at the beginning, like I don't have all the answers, Kristi doesn't have all the answers. You never will have all of the answers, and so it, you know, that's why I'm always like, oh, here's something that I heard in my personal development. I'm going to share it with the coaches that need that, or I'm going to recommend a book to them that is helpful for where they're at in their business. And so I think it's really important that coaches aren't just, like Crystal said a second ago, not just going through the motions, but what personal development do they really need in their business? You know, what are they really struggling with? Just to give you guys an idea, something that a huge mistake I made was not making email lists from the beginning of my business. And so I have been on like an email list rampage, like, you guys need to make email lists, like, you got to start now, you got to do it, don't wait until you're 4 years into the business. But I've also been doing a lot of personal development on making email lists and trying to find any information out there that I can on how to create those and how to be, you know, whatever, learn as much as I can about that topic. And what's been awesome is that the team has started doing that, and they're actually sharing things in Epic Dream Team that I'm like, oh, I don't even have to go searching for it. There it is. So just a little, you know, probably one of the biggest things that I do is see which personal development is going to work best for my coach.
I think too, Court, like just an experience like that you and I just went through. You know, like there's going to be certain things like with Kristi, she said, like, you know, usually you obviously as a leader, you project your stuff and your coaches follow suit or whatever and stuff like that. So like, you know, it's not Kristi's fault, but like it's like, so I'm like following suit with her now because I haven't done email lists either or whatever, you know, and stuff like that. But I've done like a lot of.
It's my fault. It is my fault.
I've done the things that she's done well, she's projected onto me, so it goes like, you know, both ways and stuff. And I realized there were certain things too where that's why a lot of my coaches didn't really advance in the beginning, because I didn't put any intensity or like kind of like whatever push on it. So I just you know, kind of like, oh, it took me 8 months to get to diamond. Like I wasn't like a fast diamond or anything else, and I had to change that like mentality. So all my older coaches were like, oh, they're just doing what I was doing. No, like, so I had to, you know, so as we go and progress and learn, like the same thing, like obviously we had a miscommunication, whereas like as far as like with your downline or whatever and the placement wise and strategy wise, like I was like, oh my gosh. So now, you know, we've figure that out, whatever else. And so you're going to probably, go in and hone in and make sure that your coaches know absolutely what they're doing, so they don't make the same mistake or whatever too. And that's why I said, okay, tell me, like, I need to figure out what I said or what I did so that way I don't do it again. But there's going to be some of those things that come up, unfortunately, because we aren't perfect. And, we are successful, so it shows you that you don't have to be a perfect person to be successful, that there are all kinds of bumps and bruises along the way, but that it's okay, and that you, as long as you grow from them and you continue to move forward, that's what's most important. And then you share that, your growth, and share what's going on and what you're learning with your team. It's up to you.
Well, and there's just so many cool things to learn. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, I'm sitting here and I have like this long list of all these things that I want to get good at and implement in my business, and it's so exciting to think, oh my gosh, where will I be in another 4 years? And I've been listening to the MLM Nation podcast, and some of these...
That Paul did a drum roll when you said that?
Yeah.
It sounded like you just, where will she be in another 4 years?
And some of the people on the podcast have been in there with their company for 30 or 40 years. And I'm like, one of the guys has 100 six-figure income earners underneath him. And when I heard that, my vision just got huge. I was like, that's going to be our team. We are going to have 100 six-figure income earners. We are going to be living a lifestyle of complete freedom and doing it together and traveling. And I was just like mind blown. So then I go back, okay, well, how is that going to happen? Like, I need to get better as a leader. I need to grow as a leader. I need to get better systems. I need to come up with things that I'm going to teach my team. I need to be very open and vocal about every mistake I've ever made so that they don't make the same mistakes. So
you just have the opportunity to grow faster than what we did because you're learning from our mistakes. So that's the thing, Like, Courtney, I know you're going to grow way faster than I ever did. You already are, So it's like stuff like that is what's important.
Right. Yeah. And that's exciting for your team because then they're going to be able to grow faster from you because it comes from all of us before you, and we're all working together as a team. So it's awesome for anyone that are joining.
Kristi, she's going to be moving and setting up stock someday in Orange County with me, and we're going to have houses in the same neighborhood and raise our babies together. I'm just letting you know right off the bat. I've projected it for her already.
If I can afford it there, good night. It's so expensive.
Kristi, tell her she's going to be able to afford it easily.
You'll be able to afford it. But California is crazy. It is. I'm like, some of these coaches post on Facebook, oh, I paid cash for my house. And I'm like, in Texas?
Yeah.
Your cash for your house is my down payment.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I told my husband that the other day. I was like, for us to have the things that I see a lot of these coaches accomplishing so much earlier, like paying off all their debt, like including their house and stuff, it's just going to take us longer, but that's because we choose to live,
right.
No offense to anybody else, this is where I choose to live, but where the weather is perfect 99% of the time, so I pay for that.
Yeah. You definitely pay for living in California, that's for sure. I was telling Paul, like, since we've moved to Tahoe, like, granted, it's like life adventure, outdoor adventure, year-round, but our bills, like our utility bills and everything, are probably triple what they were in San Luis Obispo. And I'm like, goodness gracious. I mean, we can afford it, but it's crazy. It really is crazy. But we are paying for that luxury. So luckily we can afford that luxury.
Yeah.
So,
Kristi, do you have like a minimum success club that you set for yourself to hit every month?
I do. So it's a little bit different, and I'll share it with you, and you can ask questions if you have them. My minimum goal is Success Club 10 for me, and then as soon as I hit Success Club 10, I go to building Paul's business, and the minimum is Success Club 6 for him, and then I go to building my mom's business, and the minimum is Success Club 6 for her. The one thing with that, though, is I put all of the customers that I get underneath my third business center because it pays the most. because it pays my third business center. I get commissions in my third business center. It pays volume for cycle bonuses in my second or third business center, and in Paul's business center, and in my first business center. So I'm getting paid cycle bonuses in 3 business centers off of that one order, and getting the commissions from it. So it's a little different. Like this month I have Success Club 31 in my business, and then Success Club 6 in Paul's, and Success Club 6 in my mom's. So I do switch to their business centers, but I still put all the customers under me, so I'm only putting coaches under them. Does that make sense? It's a little more complicated strategy-wise. As soon as I hit 10, it's usually 5 coaches with me to get to 10, and then 3 coaches with my mom, 3 coaches with Paul, both at Success Club 6, and all the customers go under that business center that's going to pay the most.
Okay.
So 10, 6, and 6, but it ends up being like realistically like 20 to 30 in mine, and then 6 and 6 for them.
And are most people coming to you at this point, or are you still reaching out a lot?
No, most people are coming to me at this point. It just started this year because I started doing Facebook ads. So something I didn't do my first 3 years was I starting out, I didn't have any money to put for Facebook ads or anything like that, and even if I did, I wouldn't know what I was doing, so I didn't do it. So everything I did was free the first couple years. I never paid for anything other than my Shakeology and my business service fee. And then this year, I actually had a success partner that was like, oh, I do Facebook ads. I had really great results with them. I was like, oh, maybe I should do that. And so I started putting money into that. And that's grown my email list. That's been a focus, is growing my email list through my Facebook ads. And yeah, now everybody is coming to me. I don't do many private messages anymore inviting. I did at the beginning. However, if I were to be stuck and not have people coming to me, I have no problem busting out 50 invites in one day to make sure that I'm finding those people that want to say yes and are ready to dive in right away.
I don't know if you saw this, Kristi, but it just popped up in a different chat area, but explain how the BC works. I'm assuming she means business center, but that's, yeah. It's.
Oh yeah. I don't know where it popped up. I don't see it. But yeah, business center. Okay. So once you get to 2-star diamond, you are able to open another business center, which is called your second business center. And then once you get your second business center to diamond, you're able to open a third business center. Once you get your third business center, open another, or get your third business center to 2-star, you can open another one. So every time you hit 2-star, you can open up another business center, up to 25 business centers. This is huge. This really is like, income is crazy. Like, think of how many years it would take to do 15-star diamond across 25 business centers. So the income potential is crazy unlimited. But when you do get to 2-star and you go to place that second business center, it's really important to talk to your upline coach, talk to me about strategy of where to place it. No one talked with me about that, and I didn't really know, and so I was kind of just placing it, and now I do know those things, so I can help with the placement of that. But when you place that business center, depending, when you have a second business center, say you have a spouse, so you have you and a significant other, and then you have your second business center, you can place them where every time you place in that second business center, it creates volume. If it's a coach in the second business center, it creates volume for your second business center, your spouse's business center, and your first business center. So you're getting paid out multiple times. So the cool thing about that, and it might be kind of confusing for you guys right now, it's get to 2-star diamond and get that second business center. It will, okay, to give you guys an idea, between my first business center this past week, I had a total of 80,000 in volume, which isn't huge. I mean, for some coaches in the business, but yet I have 3 other business centers. So the total volume in the 3 other business centers was over 80,000 as well. So that actually brings me up to being paid out on cycle bonuses of 160,000 in volume, which is over 10,000 for the week. So I earned over $10,000 for the week. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of income or success. I have to say that as a disclaimer. But I am earning multiple times on the same work, on the same effort. Does that make sense, guys? So it's really like, you know, once I opened my second business center, I then had my second business center, Paul and my income really started increasing at that point because I was able to double dip essentially in my cycle bonuses.
That's where too, like where the confusion came up with placement wise, because I think I jumped the gun with Courtney and telling her about how I did all that kind of stuff, and because she's on my, so what happens is, you know, I have my legs, whatever, I have my husband on my right leg, and then she is actually, she was placed right before I did my second business center on my husband's left leg. So she's on my right leg, but she's on his left leg. And then my second business center was placed on the left leg. And because of that, it's to build up his weak leg of volume so that he's earning more bonus cycles. And then it still continues to build my volume on the right side as well, but it just is capitalizing on that, yeah, income earning potential. Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you guys all made it. Hopefully it was helpful. And next week I think we're going to have another Q&A with Natalie, who just went 1-star qualifying. She's actually in her second week of qualifications, so that's really exciting. And Courtney, she's a diamond coach. So you guys can definitely join next week and ask questions. And if you guys have new coaches that want to come, you know, this is open for anyone. So they'll post something in an event in the team page next week. And Crystal and Tanya and I will be on a cruise. So you won't see us next week, but we'll be thinking of you all.
Yeah, we'll be thinking of you all. You should be there next time.